Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Together we have created so many wonderful moments for every fan of Descendants of Zombies, and we've brought them that much closer together through the power of YouTube and this channel. Having said that, hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Clarke, and it is once again my honor to have these many conversations with you about Descendants of Zombies, your favorite stars, and all these unforgettable moments. If you are somebody who has held a very special place in your heart for Descendants of Zombies, then I think just maybe, possibly, this could be your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and this could be the YouTube channel for you. But you've got to give me time, because I've often reiterated the idea of how time is the most precious thing that we have in this life, because we never seem to know how much time we have. So the way I feel about it and the way I perceive it is, we should use that time very effectively to touch the hearts of even more fans of Descendants of Zombies. And I honestly have had the time of my life creating so many wonderful videos that I only ever hoped would touch all of your hearts, because seemingly that's the only hope I've ever had, because as a content creator it is very challenging to fall into a niche. Now conveniently enough, I was walking through the forest of Oregon and somehow or some way I fell down through a rabbit hole. And I've been wanting to win the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies ever since. I've never left Oregon, and I felt so honored to be a part of this wonderful community, because the love and support that you receive from fans of Descendants of Zombies falls nothing short of incredible, and it's held a very special place in my heart for many years and will continue to for many years to come. No matter who our favorite character is, Red, Chloe, Mal, Evie, even Carlos, who we will never ever forget, I think we've always taken something special away from these characters and their stories. I myself have wanted to be everybody's favorite Descendants character and become an action hero. Now, while I may be a long way away from ever having that happen for me, and that's a dream that I've often wanted to realize, which could happen if 50,000 people hit my like button or 50,000 people subscribe here to this YouTube channel, and you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, don't you realize that 50,000 people are like a lot of people? That's like every person in the world. Well, I would love for every person in the world to subscribe here, because if in fact every person in the world subscribes here, you guys will get a dedicated person to bring Descendants of Zombies to life. Because oftentimes I feel like the director's chair has been a revolving door. It's been a revolving opportunity. We went from Kenny Ortega to Jennifer Fang, which eventually became Kimmy Gatewood. She's the latest to be the director behind the Descendants franchise. What we need here is a dedicated name. Somebody who will never leave the sides of these stars to give them more to believe in than ever before, because the criticism they face is really unreal. And we can do something about that. We can make them feel more confident in their abilities, in their criteria, their ability as performers to bring these characters to life, because oftentimes they have been left in doubt. And I always remembered wanting to do something about that. I was saying to myself, my God, Kylie Cantrell is a really beautiful person. She is so strong, unbelievably fearless, and she deserves to be recommended to a lot of people as a fan favorite. And I think that we can make that happen for her. And how we make that happen for her is together. I've often recommended Kylie Cantrell as somebody that you can take a lot of inspiration away from. I know her image and the way she perceives herself is very different from Disney girls of the past, because we've seen so many of them come and go in and out of our lives, like Miley Cyrus, Emily Osment, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez. The list goes on. Even Bridget Mendler, who was somebody who I was very fond of years ago because of how she played Teddy on the show Good Luck Charlie, Teddy Duncan, and how she used to record these video diaries for her sister Charlie because she wanted to set her up for an unbelievable life and an unforgettable experience. I think a lot of us have wanted to do that. And I think that through whatever generation we were a part of, we always had a favorite Disney girl or a favorite Disney Channel star that held a very special place in our hearts. And now more than ever before, we see strength and we see power in these new stars who are making up the cast of Descendants of Zombies. I have often given Meg Donnelly an incredible amount of credit for how she's brought that character Addison Wells to life. I think a lot of people never really took Addison's character very seriously because of how the character was very different. And I often notice that in a lot of interviews that Meg Donnelly does, with the exception of the interview, a lot of people don't even refer to Addison as her actual name, which of course is Meg Donnelly, who is an incredibly talented actress who has brought that character Addison to life so many times in so many unbelievable ways through how she was able to tell the story of herself and Zed and their love relationship that really stood the test of time. Because the one thing that we wanted to see out of the Zombies franchise was them spending the rest of their lives together, because we often saw ourselves in relationships we may have been involved in that we wished could have lasted for forever. And we wanted to have that one chance of even believing in the chance of us staying with that one person for forever. God knows that I've often wanted to spread my own message of kindness or think about spending the rest of my life with somebody who I thought it was special in my own life. And I think that's what we all took away from the Zombies and Descendants franchises, was obviously something special. Either to appreciate time more than we already have, or the friendships that kind of come in and out of our lives. I know we've had friends that we've kind of wanted to hold on to forever, and we may have gone our separate ways, but you know something? Those friends always come back. If it's meant to be, those friends will forever and always remain with us and remain a very valuable part of all of our lives. But I think the one thing that we appreciate more than ever before, because of Descendants, is just how valuable time is. And I've noticed that in a lot of these reviews that a lot of people put together about Descendants and Zombies, they don't really put a greater emphasis on just the value of what Descendants and Zombies is trying to teach us and really put across. It is how valuable time is, how precious friendships are, and how we should honor the friends that we have in our lifetime and the friends that we make. You know, every day people are becoming friends over Descendants and Zombies. I've seen this firsthand, and it's a beautiful experience to have the chance to really experience and to be a part of. When you see people bonding and staying friends forever over Descendants and Zombies, sharing stories about their favorite characters and what their favorite moments have been. I've really had the time of my life being a part of a wonderful franchise, feeling as if I've been on this incredible journey where I've seemingly have fallen down through a rabbit hole, or I've gone on a boating expedition and somehow encountered a vortex that I thought about jumping inside of. I've really had the time of my life, and I think that in years to come we're going to have even more incredible memories that we're going to have the chance to create. But what it comes down to is how much all of you believe in Descendants and Zombies, how you've held on to Descendants and Zombies for what feels like forever. Because take it from a guy who feels like he's been holding on to Descendants and Zombies for forever and never wanted to say goodbye. I've never wanted to let go. And I think a lot of people have chosen this YouTube channel as their favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel because they have felt the same way. They've never wanted to let go, nor have they ever wanted to say goodbye. So let's give them more of a reason to never let go and to never have to say goodbye. Because to be honest with you guys, when Hannah Montana had its series finale back in January of 2011, I never wanted to say goodbye. I was very emotionally overcome. I remember being really heartfelt about Emily Osmond and all the pressure that she had to deal with, you know, attending public school and having to be on the set of Hannah Montana and bring these stories to life between Molly Stewart and, of course, Lily Truscott, which was a beautiful friendship. It may have never been in real life, but it was a beautiful story that was told. And I remember feeling so emotionally connected to Hannah Montana for its music and for its story, even though the story was never the greatest or never often perceived as the greatest story ever told for a Disney Channel series. It was a beautiful experience to have the chance to be a part of because so many people loved the music. So many people loved what Hannah Montana represented. So after 100 episodes had been seen, I never ever wanted to let go of it. And I still am missing Hannah Montana. I'm still missing Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I'm still missing Wizards of Waverly Place because no matter what generation of Disney we come from, we never forget those characters that have had a significant impact on all of our lives. And even more so now, 15 and a half years later, after shows like Victorious, iCarly, Wizards, and Hannah Montana have said goodbye, we're holding on to Descendants of Zombies more than we ever have, and we've never wanted to let go. We've never wanted to say goodbye. So I say we encourage that there's a new chapter coming for Descendants of Zombies, even more chapters than we ever imagined possible, because the one thing we have to realize is there's such an extensive library of characters who have yet to come into this franchise, from stories represented by characters that we have yet to see, have never even been seen in the Descendants franchise, characters such as, Rapunzel or Snow White. Where are Snow White? Where is Alice in this franchise? Because in all honesty, guys, it's just focusing on villains, and it's just focusing on their stories. I think that if you had heroes kind of coming into the story and posing a threat to these villains, again, you have more of a story to rely on and more of a story to keep this franchise going. Because in all honesty, guys, you can keep going on and on and on forever. You don't have to keep focusing on love relationships between, say, Evie and her love interest or Red and her love interest, which eventually will happen. Because for those of you following along with the Descendants book series, the book franchise, I believe there are a total of 9 of them, and Red develops a love interest in this character named Ace. Now, I have no idea if he's going to premiere in Descendants 5 Book Wonderland. I don't really know that much about Descendants 5 Book Wonderland, and you guys are probably saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, what are you saying? You know more about Descendants than any of us. You are a Descendants analyst, and you've had the time of your life creating videos for us. Well, I did it because I just had one dream and only ever one hope. And that hope always was that I was going to touch your heart in some way or somehow. I was going to touch your heart. And somewhere, somehow I did that because of all the relatable content that I had the chance to create. All I can tell you guys is that I have no idea where I'd be out there in the world today if not for your love and support, because your love and support has been outstanding, and I've loved every single moment that I've had the chance to spend around you guys, because the one thing I quickly realized about Descendants of Zombies were that you guys were incredibly supportive of who and what you loved. And you guys have forever unconditionally been in love with these videos. You've obviously seen something special in me, and I have no idea where I'd be without you, because without you, the people watching these videos, there would be no show. There would never have been a Jonathan Clarke. And you guys are what's forever made this YouTube channel so special for me, and obviously will continue to hold a very special place in my heart for forever. You know, every morning before 9 a.m., which it's only 9:01 a.m. this morning currently, I turn on my reciprocal lights, and I just hope for the best every single time that I push record, that somebody's going to watch this video, and hope for the best when it comes to a future with Descendants of Zombies, because that's what you're searching for every single time that you watch one of these videos, is a future to talk about with Descendants of Zombies, because oftentimes there are people who have never had that same appreciation coming forth in the videos that they record about Descendants of Zombies. There are people who will never appreciate Descendants of Zombies as much as what you do. So I was kind of hoping that you would see that in these videos. Somebody who appreciated Descendants of Zombies as much as what you have for the last 10 years. Because a lot can happen in 10 years. People have fallen in love with this franchise, and now 5.5 years after a hiatus was seen for Descendants, even more people are falling in love with this franchise and taking something special away from the characters and their stories. And that's what's made this so special for me, and something that's been truly unforgettable. I've seen strength, I've seen power in these character stories for how different they were, because let's be honest, Red was a very different character who definitely wanted to really stand out for something more than just, you know, being evil or being powerful and achieving power through the story that was told from, let's say, the original trilogy. This story was very different because this was a story that was based on friendships. This was a story about that friendship being taken further than ever before and lasting the test of time, just as Zed and Addison's story was for many years, for at least over 7.5 years. They would go on to hold a very special place in our heart. And I can break that down, and I can analyze that because I saw something special in them before anyone else ever did. And that's what's allowed me to bring so many wonderful videos to life, is the chance to relate to far more people than ever before. Because I think a lot of us saw ourselves in stories like Zed and Addison's and Red and Chloe's. Because no matter who our favorite character was, we all took something special away from those characters. And now we look ahead to Descendants 5 with Wonderland and the upcoming Zombies 5 in 2027 with even more to be excited about, because we really don't know that much about characters like Victor and Nova. All we know is that we're going to be a part of something special. What that something special is, we really don't know at this time, but as it gets closer, we will have even more of an appreciation to take away from Zombies and Descendants every single time. And I've never felt more honored to be a part of something so special with all of you. So I would like to take this time to say thank you to every fan of Descendants and Zombies who has been with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, because I have no idea where I'd be without your love and support, which often is the greatest challenge that every content creator faces, is the chance to relate to far more people than they ever imagined possible. But I think that it's all about how you tell a story and how much you believe in that story and how much you believe this story is going to happen. Because I remember years ago always wanting sequels to movies like Power Rangers and Batman and Hercules and Aladdin. And even though it felt like it was forever away, sequels would eventually come. And you would love the sequels just as much as you loved the originals, because you never ever forgot having the chance to be a part of it. Like just yesterday, I went to see the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and it was so cool seeing this new generation's version of Super Mario, because I remember the original Super Mario movie that debuted back in 1987, and that was a very different Super Mario movie from this one. I think the retelling of the character stories, Super Mario and Luigi, gave us a greater appreciation. Also how these cool characters like the Koopas and Bowser and Donkey Kong were brought to life. It was so cool. And seeing Star Fox in that movie made it so fun for me to watch, because I also remember being a huge fan of the Star Fox video games. I remember playing Star Fox on Super Nintendo. So nostalgic feelings is something that's never far away from Descendants of Zombies. So I think that a lot of people felt nostalgic when they saw stories of Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella brought to life in a very different way. I think that a lot of people felt that nostalgic feeling that they were dreaming of feeling for a very long time, because that's what Descendants present us with. This chance to be a part of something and to really feel a part of something, to really feel immersed in something that we never wanted to be over, that we never wanted to see end. I think that dramatic conclusions are a really awful way of referring to a franchise, because the way I've often seen it is that these stories are far from over, and why should they ever have to be over? I think it's really incredible how Descendants of Zombies has meant so much to all of our hearts, and Descendants of Zombies has gone on to hold a very special place in our hearts for the years that have already passed us by. But the years that have to come, we are still setting ourselves up for something that is going to be so incredible that I'm so excited to be a part of. So thank you so much for being with me from the very first video that has ever been created here, because in all honesty, guys, you are what makes the magic happen for this YouTube channel. Happy Good Friday to everybody. Happy early Easter to everybody watching this video. I hope from wherever you're watching this video, somewhere out there in this really big galaxy, because I've often referred to the Descendants of Zombies universe as a really big galaxy full of Descendants of Zombies fans, I hope you have a wonderful Easter, and I hope you have the time of your life discovering this YouTube channel for what, for many of you, is the very first time. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and as always, thank you so much for having watched this video.